Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Great to have you with us on the program today. As mentioned, award-winning relationship experts Arieland and Shya Kane are with us on the program. Their best-selling book, How to Create a Magical Relationship, won the prestigious Nautilus Book Awards Gold Medal. Their most recent book, we'll be talking about it on the show today, How to Have a Match Made in Heaven, a Transformational Approach to Dating, Relating, and Marriage, is a Mom's Choice Awards Gold recipient. Arieland and Shya Kane, welcome to This Week in America. Great to have you with us on the program.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
So much we're going to cover during the course of the program today. And let's start with the very basics. We all grow up and we have this sort of fairy tale thing. We're going to find somebody, get married, live happily ever after. Some people say, yes, that's still attainable. Other people say, no, it's just a fairy tale. That really doesn't happen. Is it possible to have that type of relationship?
Maybe it's a little of both. Yes, it's possible to have that kind of relationship.
And it's very, very rare because there's so many things that people don't know that trip them up on the way to having it.
Right.
Well, and you talk in the book, How to Have a Match Made in Heaven. By the way, the website for all the information on Arieland and Shya, you can find it at our website, of course, or go to theirs directly, transformationmadeeasy.com. In the book, you talk about a lot of things, and sort of the basic is living in the moment. Is that one of the keys to getting started with having a good relationship?
That's one of the keys to getting started with having a good or great life. Because if you're not in the current moment when you're with your partner or somebody you're dating or the person you're married to, if you are there but not there, then it's very difficult to have any kind of great match, lasting match.
Yeah, and you talk about listening, and listening is so important, yet so many of us probably don't do it correctly. How important is listening, to actually having the ears on and paying attention to what somebody, in this particular case, the person you're with, is talking about?
Listening is the key skill set. And I got to warn you, Shya and I are likely to finish each other's sentences here coming up. I can feel it. We tend to communicate that way. But
especially when we get excited.
But, if you don't really stop to listen to hear what your partner or another person is saying from his or her perspective, then you're lost.
Well, not only that, they feel unheard, unseen.
And then there's no real communication. And most of us are used to waiting for our turn, trying to get our point across, wanting to be right, looking to manipulate the situation to get what we want, or hearing and filling in the last half of a sentence with what we expect to hear, so we're never really there to hear the nuances. And a real good trick is not only to listen with your ears, but listen with your eyes, where you actually look at your partner or whoever's in front of you while they're speaking. If it's possible, of course, on the phone it's not. And it'll support you in actually hearing what they're saying rather than thinking.
But all that's of very little value if you are fighting or bickering or disagreeing with each other and keeping lists of transgressions. Because if you do that, there's no possibility at all of listening, because you're not really interested in hearing their point of view. It jeopardizes yours.
Well, and you talk about agreeing and disagreeing. Explain the difference and why that's so important.
Well, if you agree, you check into what you already know and see if what's being said agrees with what you already believe in or disagrees with what you already believe in. But you're not actually listening to what the person is saying. You're actually looking and seeing whether or not it
fits with what you already know. So then in that respect, listening is not this creative act between the two of you. It's something where you, in a nanosecond, leave the moment, pull in your whole past, check it over, see how what's being said fits. There's another possibility where you simply hear what the person has to say
from their point of view.
How to Have a Match Made in Heaven is the book we're talking about, a transformational approach to dating, relating, and marriage. Our guest on the program, Arieland and Shya Kane. Their website is transformationmadeeasy.com. An excellent website. You have videos there. It's interactive. You've got all sorts of information on this book and other bestsellers that the Kanes have had as well. You talk about something before which is interesting, and that's being right. And we always feel like we have to be right. We've got to walk away feeling like we just dominated that conversation and we're the ones being right. How much of importance do you place on giving that up to make a relationship work?
Everything. If you're committed to being right, the relationship doesn't stand a chance.
Now, mind you, we said that in the subtitle of the book, our approach is a transformational approach to dating, relating, and marriage. In a change approach, you work on your relationship. It's effortful, it's hard, and you have those dichotomies. You have good and bad, right and wrong. You also have the winner and the loser. In transformation, it's a win-win game. It's about being here as a partner with the people in your life, and especially with yourself first. Because if you're fighting with yourself, you're going to sooner or later treat anybody who's in relationship with you just the same way you treat yourself.
In your books, you talk about the 3 principles of instantaneous transformation. Talk about that. What are they?
Well, the first one is anything you say no to or disagree with or resist, it persists, it grows stronger, and it dominates your life. It follows you around everywhere you go.
So if there's something about your partner that you are resisting, pretty soon that's going to dominate your whole experience of the relationship.
Only see them through that resistance.
The second thing is, if you take a look at your relationship right now, whether you're in one, whether you're in a good one, you're dating, the state of your ability to relate right now in this instant can only be exactly as it is.
So you can't be different than you are in the current moment of your life. Second principle is no two things can occupy the same space at the same time. So you can only be exactly as you are in the current moment of your life. That doesn't mean you're stuck there forever. It means in the current moment you can only be the way you are. And if that is true, and it's our experience is that it is true, that if I snap my fingers in that moment you could only be exactly as you were when my fingers snapped, then in any moment of your life you could have only been the way you were. So you haven't done the past wrong, you haven't done your relationship up until this point wrong, it was just the only way you knew how to be. And now, with awareness, which we consider a non-judgmental seeing, that's enough to have your relationship transform. And that's actually the third principle. Anything you see without judging, that you allow to be exactly as it is, completes itself in an instant. So there's no word. This is the lazy person's way to enlightenment and the lazy person's way to relationship.
Well, I think
relationship.
Yeah, a match made in heaven that basically starts with you, with us individually, right?
Always, yes, absolutely. Because if your partner determines your well-being, then
you'll never be in balance.
Right. Each of us has to be well in ourselves rather than expecting a relationship to produce the well-being.
Or the relationship to make us whole. You have two partial people coming together, it's always going to be partial. You have two whole, complete, satisfied human beings coming together, and what you create is a match made in heaven.
One thing that you mentioned, how to have a match made in heaven, and the book, and this book has video clips that you can access through the internet, through a URL, and because the book is based on true experiences of people and us working with people, and you actually see them transform.
And the website is transformationmadeeasy.com. The book is How to Have a Match Made in Heaven, a transformational approach to dating, relating, and marriage. Ariel and Shya Kane, our guest on This Week in America. Been together for 30 years and counting, and people, I understand, still stop and ask, are you guys on your honeymoon?
Yes, it actually just happened a few weeks ago. It was really kind of neat. I mean, I know that, well, if people go to transformationmadeeasy.com or look at the back of our book, you'll see we don't look like we're in our 20s, but we certainly don't look. Shya does not look 72. I do not look going on 55. There's a youth to us. There is something about being in relationship and not fighting that keeps you alive and vital.
When your relationship is a place of refuge from the bludgeoning of life, when you come home to your wife or husband and you feel good being with them, it supports your aliveness, your well-being, your sense of okayness. And so the world may be screwed up, but you don't have to be.
One of the problems in so many relationships is fighting, is the anger sometimes. And you mentioned in the book How to Have a Match Made in Heaven that it does take two to fight. but it takes one to end that fight. When you talk to people, how important is that to don't let this go any longer, end it quickly?
Well, I really prefer to back up to it takes one to end the fight, and it always needs to be you.
Yes.
Our approach is not that relationship is a 50-50 deal. It's 100%, 100%. And we follow 3 different couples in this book, and we show how the difference between when you truly surrender to your partner or if you succumb, like you go, okay, well, but really the fight is still going, that you can actually really see the difference in the quality of the relationships. You can read it up, pops off the pages. If you get the audible version of it, you can hear it pop off through the words, or you can actually see it in the video.
In the audible version, Ariel reads the book to me in a sound studio.
Yes. You know, that's interesting because, after I said that, if you have in your mind it takes one to end a fight and now it's her turn, you're probably never going to end that fight. You have to assume I'm going to do it. She assumes I'm going to do it, and the fight is over with.
That's accurate. Right on.
And you know what? When that happens, there's no blame then.
Yes.
There's no blame. There's no good one, no bad one.
And you're mutually looking for a solution rather than trying to prove the other one was stupid or wrong or did it wrong.
Okay, anytime Shya and I have had some sort of tension between us, and one person says, I'm sorry, I did this, or I didn't do this, or I said this, always the other one can see their part in it too, as from 100% perspective. If Shya were to say something like that, then I would say, I see how I did this.
Contributed to it.
And it's really wonderful because you never are whacking on each other for having either made mistakes or for...
Well, you know, the other thing is, Rick, you got to be careful of your friends because they support you in being separate from your relationship.
Interesting.
It happens.
Yes.
You know, with the guy friends and the gal friends, and sometimes they have allegiance with each other, and they want to,
part of the club.
Well, yeah, and when you go to them and you're talking about a particular problem, I'm sure you're looking for affirmation at that point. So you want your friend to take your side if there's any, disagreement with the person you're with.
Exactly. And see, you can settle it together, or if you bring other people in, you suddenly have an ongoing reality that's based in one or the other of you are wrong, and you never resolve it that way.
One of the chapters that really caught my attention, Sticks and Stones. This is in the book, How to Have a Match Made in Heaven. Shya, Ariel, Kane, our guest on the program, transformationmadeeasy.com, their website. Go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can link on at that point. And I so often think of this. So many times people will throw words out there thinking that, okay, when I'm done, I just sort of like suck them back in or erase them and they're gone. I've always believed when you said that, those words are out there and they're there forever.
Well, yes and no. You say something hurtful and it definitely bruises. But if it's there forever, then one or the other of you is holding vendettas. There is the possibility of forgiveness. And also, there have been times where Shya and I, in the past, have had a disagreement, and we've looked at each other and we've just agreed to start over. And when you start over, it's like pressing the restart button.
But, I'm sorry, and meaning it goes a long way to having things get healed. Ariel said forgiveness. Forgiveness in the dictionary says to give up the right or desire to punish. And that, if you do that, and to have as though it never happened, as in forgiving a debt, then you can short-circuit these things where you bruise yourself and each other, and if you cut it to a short period of time, it no longer has to be a way of life. The fight no longer has to dominate your lives.
How important is the dating aspect? And some people are listening and they're probably young or newlyweds, and it's like, yeah, dating is still important. But when you've been married 20, 30, 40 years, how important is it to have sort of like that separate element that, okay, we are going to get back and spend some time with each other?
Well, I think when you use the word date, Rick, most people are hearing it in a very specific format, like, aha, now we're going to get dressed up and go out, or we're going to do something special. And Shya and I have discovered that anytime you're really with each other, it's a mini date. So
we can walk out to the mailbox and get the mail, and it's a date.
We can be chopping vegetables to prepare a meal together, and as long as we're really present, being there with each other, it's a date. And
but people are so busy in this technological world that they're constantly distracted from where they are. But, you know, we've been raised in this future-oriented society and culture that something in the future is going to be better than what we have right now, or something in the past was better, but this isn't it. And we've discovered that if you access the current moment of your life and are really here for it, then life becomes very rich and fulfilling and satisfying, and it's a joyous experience rather than a complaint that life isn't showing up the way you'd prefer.
And when you allow yourself to have these mini dates, and I'm telling you, one of our favorite mini dates really is to go out the front door together, hold hands, walk to the mailbox, we live in the country, and come back together. That little brief period of time without anything but the two of us in all sorts of weather is just divine. And when you have mini dates like that, then things that are more what you would consider a traditional date become a natural extension of that, rather than having to plan date night to recover something that's been lost.
So we're basically back where we started, which is live in the moment. You're right. When I mentioned dating, so many people, and I'm thinking the same thing, there's sort of a production, there's planning, there's strategy involved, all of that. What would you like to do? No, what would you like to do type of thing. You're saying capture the moment, and you can make a date out of that.
Well, you know, when you capture the moment, all it takes is listening. Listening really does pull you into the moment. And transformation, where your life becomes a direct experience rather than a concept, is a byproduct of getting into the moment. So listening is really an extraordinarily underused tool and a skill set that we can all learn very easily.
And it's a true gift to your partner and a gift to yourself.
You're listening to This Week in America. Unfortunately, just about out of time on this program, but we will be having the Kanes back. Shya and Arieland Kane, our guest on the program. Transformation Made Easy is the website. The new book, an excellent one, is called How to Have a Match Made in Heaven, a transformational approach to dating, relating, and marriage. If you go to the website, there's a whole lot of information there as well. And mention the video. You can actually sort of sense as these people that Shya and Ariel are talking to are going through this transformation. You can actually sense that as you're viewing it. You can pick it up on the page too as you're reading or hearing about it in the book How to Have a Match Made in Heaven. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. It's been fascinating, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. You're listening to This Week in America and the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network.